All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Bryce, the head of marketing here at Delphi. Today, we also have Chetan, who is our Salesforce admin and CRM superhero. Chetan, you want to say hello real quick?
Hello, everyone. Hope you're going to enjoy this session.
Awesome. Glad you could join us. So today, we're going to spend the next 15 minutes talking about prospecting, the challenges that confront most salespeople today, and how an AI assistant can remove those frictions and barriers and allow you to turn your company's database into a source of info that fosters better prospecting. And so we're going to take you also into Salesforce and show you how Delphi can improve your prospecting internally. So before we jump into the conversation, I have a quick poll because I wanted to get a quick pulse on what is your sales team's biggest pain point when it comes to prospecting today. So let me launch that poll real quick. And as I'm doing this, just as a reminder, if you have any questions throughout today's session, feel free to use the chat on the Zoom panel, and we'll either answer the questions live or we have a Q&A at the very end. So the poll is live. Take a couple minutes to answer that. And in the meantime, I'm going to run you through our agenda today. So real quick, we're going to begin with talking about sales cycle inside Salesforce, specifically prospecting and the key challenges that exist today for data-driven businesses. And then Chetan is going to take us through a quick demo of Delphi, and at the very end, we'll have a Q&A to answer any questions that you may have. And so first of all, today your sales pipeline may look a little bit more different or maybe more complicated than what I'm about to show you, but the typical sales pipeline inside Salesforce is going to include the following activities, right? First, you begin with prospecting. At some point, there's going to be a qualification that occurs before your sales actually follow up and have a one-to-one meeting, to which then maybe a proposal is going to be created to your prospect. And then hopefully they're going to come back. You're going to deal with the negotiation. And if you're successful, which I hope you are, you'll be able to get these new prospects to sign on and become customers. And then, of course, to sort of finish the loop, you're going to do your sort of post-purchase activities. But today's session, we're going to be focusing at the top, which is prospecting. And so we sort of simplified the prospecting process into 3 different buckets. The first being data gathering. Right, this stage is about targeting your ideal customer profiles and exploring whether or not you have the relevant contact information for these folks. And just because a set of people fit your profile doesn't necessarily imply that they're interested in your product or service. So it's also essential to identify the people who are showing intent for your product or service. So a lot of folks use lead scoring as a great way to accomplish this, but you need to capture their engagement data. So for example, their likes, comments, activity on social media, as well as participation in your forums, webinars, etc. So this data may come from third-party sources, such as LinkedIn, or it may come in terms of an Excel file from a different tool that you use, whether it's your event management system, or it could come from online, for example. So the second stage is about mapping this data. It's about getting this data into your CRM. Some folks spend a lot of time manually at this stage, either copying and pasting. There's a lot of tools available that help you sort of do this seamlessly, but you still need to, spend that time in terms of evaluating the tools as well as the integration. And so now that you have the data inside Salesforce, you're ready to either pass your prospect list over to your SDR team, who's going to sort of execute in terms of reaching out, or maybe you're doing this yourself. And so that's about using, the correct emails or the phone numbers to make that first attempt. And so what's the problem today, or the greatest challenge that people are seeing when it comes to prospecting? And spoiler, it's related to data. So today, 71% of sales say that they spend too much time on manual data entry. Over in marketing, they've been found to believe that improving data quality will increase their emailing success by 51%. So think of those bounce rates using wrong emails, maybe outdated emails, for example. And we all hate spending the time to update our CRM, let's be real. Sometimes it may seem that we're just doing it for our managers, but our CRMs are the most important tool for closing deals when it's the single source of truth for our customers and leads with good data. So one of the challenges we face today is the current state of data quality in our CRM. Maybe we're wanting to build ABM campaigns with current accounts or add existing contacts and do a campaign. But today, as you just see on the slide, 49% of our data is incomplete. 38% of it has inaccurate market data, and 37% has inaccurate CRM system data. And so when we're prospecting using our current data in our CRMs, we want that data to be complete and accurate and up to date. Significant time is lost backpedaling, trying to fill in the missing information or finding out which contacts have already moved roles or companies entirely. And so besides this missing data or inaccurate data, another problem that companies are failing with today or struggling with is preventing data decay. So today, do you know how many contacts in your CRM have already changed roles or companies basically have become outdated inside your CRM? Today, 25% of buyers change their roles every year. And that's impacting your sales and prospecting in the following ways. For example, 85% of sales have said that they've either lost or had one deal delayed because of a change in a buyer's role. A third of those folks have also said that this is the case for up to 3 of their deals. And so that's where Delpha comes in. We wanted to give you a product, create an AI assistant that is able to turn all of your Salesforce users into superheroes. And in terms of prospecting, that means that they're able to get more data, better quality data, so that you can provide a better sort of customer experience. And so what we've sort of seen with the folks that are using Delpha today is they're able to increase their productivity by at least 30%. So think of all of the times that when you're building your prospecting list, how much time do you spend on finding the correct people, making sure that the data inside the record is correct, whether or not there's missing information or incorrect information. Just think of the emails and phones. How much time do you spend obtaining those if they're missing from your current CRM database? And think now if you could just automate all of that. And that's sort of what we're doing here at Delpha. And so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to pass it over to Chetan, who's going to take you inside Salesforce and show you how we work.
Thanks, Bryce, for pointing out the critical issues in prospecting and introducing Delpha. Now let's have a look at Delpha in action. As you already know, the goal of business development or sales development representative is to identify new clients and close deals. The first step of sales prospecting is identifying the right people who fit into your ideal profile. So this profile can be based on your geography, industry, company size, any other filters based on your sales strategy. So LinkedIn is one of the leading platforms, professional networks to source your leads or contacts. So if you're using LinkedIn for real-time prospecting, ideally what you'd be doing is first you'd open your LinkedIn or Sales Navigator account and start creating your ideal customer profile list. For example, if I had to make a list of Salesforce admins in California, I would search for Salesforce admins and add a couple of filters based on my ideal customer profile list. In this case, I'm going to select California and choose the company as IT and services. Here's my ideal customer profile list with around 1,400 contacts. Now I wish to import this prospect list to Salesforce. As shown in the slides, most sales reps still use manual entry to get this into their CRM, or you can convert this list into an Excel file, generate emails using some tools, and then next validate them and finally add them to your CRM. Using Delpha, you can get this prospect list on your Salesforce in a single click. All you have to do is go to campaign and create a new campaign. I'm going to name this as Salesforce Admins California. And then choose the type as scraping. And then we have a specific section for Delpha called scraping information. Here, I can choose a scraping type. It can either be the LinkedIn search or the Sales Navigator search, Sales Navigator list based on the account you're using and the type of search you're doing. In this case, it's going to be the LinkedIn search. So I'm going to select it and paste the URL from which I wish the prospect list to be copied. Then I also have the option to choose the number of contacts that I wish to be imported to my Salesforce. In this case, I'm just going to select 20. You can select up to 2,500. Once I save it, I can easily import the prospects using Delphi. As you can see, the Delphi is at the bottom right corner. The number 2 here indicates the number of prioritized recommendations for this user on this particular page. The first recommendation is import contacts from LinkedIn. So I click on it. You can see that the bot is engaging with the end user. It's basically telling me that a LinkedIn search is associated with this campaign and it can help me get those prospects as contacts in my CRM. I'm just going to click on import new contacts and add them to this campaign. Again, Delphi is telling me that it's going to take a couple of minutes to import this and enrich them. So you can come back and have a look at it. So Delphi will either create or update existing contacts with their LinkedIn profiles. Once the contacts are added to them, it's going to automatically enrich them with crucial information. Delphi is also going to fetch their right email addresses. Email notifications are used to inform campaign owners as soon as the process is complete. The import process takes a couple of minutes. So this is how it would look once the process is complete. As you can see here, you have a communication status field, basically tells us how many records have been created, how many have been updated, or the records which are not being created as flagged as invalid. So Delphi also checks data quality before adding them directly to your CRM, due to which there is an invalid contact. For example, if the contact may be invalid if the last name is missing, or if it's just a single character. So we also have the related attachment where you can go in detail and see why a contact is not being added. So all the contacts that have been added and enriched can be monitored on the Delphi built-in dashboards. Let's have a look at that. The first chart here indicates the number of records that are added to your Salesforce CRM and enriched. In this case, it's 90. And this chart indicates the total number of contacts that are added over the last 7 days. And the remaining reports basically tell you any key issues that are associated with this campaign contacts. Now let's have a look at one of the enriched contacts. As you can see, the Michael Gilbert is one of the enriched contacts which has been added. So the contact is added with the account name and the LinkedIn contact URL, and then enriched with all the key crucial fields. And the crucial fields, namely the LinkedIn name, the job title, the location, the LinkedIn company name. It also gives you information about the connection degree with this current contact owner and also the job histories. So if the contact is associated with multiple companies, you can see that everything in this contact job history. Okay. And the enrichment can also be done directly at the contact level. Say you create a new contact and you're not creating contacts through the campaign, you can directly go on Delphi and enrich them using a single click. It's also important to note that you can do all this using your regular LinkedIn account. Suppose you have a LinkedIn Sales Navigator account. You can use advanced search filters to create an accurate lead list and then use the Delphi to get LinkedIn lead list into your CRM in exactly the same way. So Delphi brings tremendous value to your sales team by reducing manual entry and quickly adding a large number of contacts from LinkedIn and enriching them. Another critical point that Bryce mentioned is the data decay. As the data keeps growing with time, the more data keeps decaying. So the data must be proactively monitored and updated. So your sales team members can get in touch with the right key decision makers instead of getting in touch with the wrong contacts or the contacts that have moved to different companies. So let's assume that I'm planning an account-based marketing. So ideally what I would do is I would add all the contacts to a campaign and then launch my email or sales campaign. For this example, I've created an ABM campaign for Delphi. It's basically all the contacts that are associated with Delphi, and I've added these contacts to this particular campaign called ABM Delphi. You can see that Delphi has listed some of the key issues that are associated with these contacts. For example, there are 7 contacts which still needs to be enriched, 8 contacts are missing email, 2 contacts have invalid email, and 1 contact has moved to different account. I can take corrective action either by going to the campaign directly and using the Delphi to find the email address for all these contacts in a single in a single click, or I can go to these contacts individually and fix them. In this case, let me just go to one of these contacts which has moved to a different account. So click on the report. You can see that Samantha Parker is the contact which has moved to a different account already. As you can see, Delphi has made a recommendation saying that the contact has moved. In this case, Delphi is informing me that the contact Samantha Parker has moved from Delphi to the new account Kojikog. I can update the account in a single click. You can also see that the Delphi is engaging in a step-by-step process instead of putting any hindrance between the end user and the system itself. Once the account is updated, Delphi is also telling me that Samantha Parker has changed her position from account executive to sales manager. Again, I can update it through a single click. Once I complete the recommendation, you can see that the title has been updated along with the account name. So ensuring good data in your CRM before launching a campaign helps you increase your email response rates and reach the right key decision makers. Since we believe that the contact owners need to make final decisions, the suggestions are recommended to email user, for example, find the right email or like change the contact name. But you can also use Delphi Autopilot to automate some of these actions. For example, move the contact to a new account as soon as the company change is detected, or merge duplicates if the threshold scores are very high. So as the last step of prospecting, I can also send LinkedIn connection requests, emails, or messages directly to Delphi itself. So this is just dipping our toe on discovering how Delphi can turn data into prospecting success. However, Delphi can help in the entire sales cycle, including opportunity management, duplicate handling, and efficient sales pipelines. With this, I'll let Bryce take over the Q&A session.
Awesome. Thanks, Chetan, for that demo. What I'm going to do is just going to share, before I jump into the questions, if you want more information, you can explore our website, which is delphi.io, or if you want to book a follow-up meeting with Chet or myself, if you want to talk about your specific case, then you can do that as well. So we'll just take a couple of minutes to answer a couple of the questions that came in. And I think, Chetan, this first one I'll pass to you. So they're talking about the data privacy in terms of scraping LinkedIn data. Can you maybe talk real quick about this topic? It's okay, it's allowed. What's going on there?
Yeah, Delphi only gets publicly available information from LinkedIn. Delphi is just acting on the end user behalf to automate the actions. For example, importing data from LinkedIn, enriching, and even proactively monitoring data quality. All this information is already publicly available in LinkedIn, like you said. So we're just automating these for the end user. Again, to answer this question specifically, getting publicly accessible information is not a violation under the US law.
Okay. And you had mentioned there was a question on the limitations. So just as a recap, you had mentioned that there's the maximum number of contacts is 2,500 that you can scrape from LinkedIn, but is there any limitations in how many you can do per day?
The number of contacts that can be enriched. Currently the number of contacts that can be enriched per day is around 160. Again, this depends upon the LinkedIn account, and it can be increased depending on what account you exactly use. But depending on the number of contacts, if you wish to add more than 2,500 contacts to a campaign, you can split into multiple campaigns and add them.
Okay, I'll take this next one. There was a question about how they can test Delphi, and so there's sort of two access points. We have a test drive, which if you go on our website, you can find it there, or you can go directly to our App Exchange profile, where you can also access it. You'll have a test drive that allows you to play around with Delphi and some of our use cases in sort of a sandbox environment. If you want to take a next step and you want to see it on your company's current org, then please reach out to us and we can talk about setting that up. So this last one too is about the pricing. Again, I'll take that one, Chetan. The pricing, it's this information's on our website as well. You can see that Currently, we use a per user per month. So if you're looking just for these prospecting features, there's not different packages. It's just you get the entire Delphi and all of the use cases that we offer in sort of one package. You can find all those details on our website. So I think with that, that's all the time we have. If I didn't get to your question, I think we've answered most of them, but again, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to talk with you in further detail. Hopefully you found this session enlightening, and I'll say thank you and see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.